I want you to imagine for a second a man standing outside a crowded street corner, holding a sign in one hand and a megaphone in another, and screaming, "This city's going to burn! It's going to hell in a handbasket." But then I want you to imagine zooming out and realizing something horrifying. Behind the man stands his own house, literally burning, going up in flames. His family's inside. The roof is collapsing. And instead of dropping what he's doing and rushing to take action, he's just busy screaming on the street corner, hoping someone will hear. This is very much like the image Paul gives us in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 12 through 13. Paul says, "What business is it of mine to judge those outside the church? Are you not to judge those inside? God will judge those outside." In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, Paul addresses a case of sexual immorality that he's become aware of in the Corinthian church. Apparently, a man has been having an affair with his stepmother, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. In fact, they seem to be proud of themselves. The Corinthians are so boastful in their own spiritual maturity that instead of addressing this significant problem within their walls, they're instead casting judgments about the sinful lives of other people outside the city who don't believe in Jesus. They're calling out the speck in the city's eye while paying no attention to the plank in their own eye. And worse, they know about this public scandal with their brother, but they're doing nothing about it. Paul warns us to not cast judgments on those outside the church, but those inside it. We can't expect this world, who doesn't believe in Jesus, to conform to a Christian understanding of morality and ethics. And we can't try to force them to confine to our way of living through shame or judgment or lobbying for specific legislation in the public square. That's never going to work, brothers and sisters, especially if Jesus' followers who are condemning their behavior are spending no time cleaning up their own behavior and their own sin. Paul encourages us to only be concerned with judging the sin of those inside our church community, those whom we know and love, with whom we have a relationship with. When we address the sin of our brothers and sisters, we can do so in a way that's loving and restorative and ultimately leads to them repenting of their ways and reconciling with those in their lives whom their sin has hurt. But judging the sins of those we don't know who exist outside of our faith community will rarely do us any good. It could lead to people walking away from Jesus altogether and never wanting anything to do with him, or it could expose our own hypocrisy and compromise the reputation of Christ and his church in the world. Too often, Christians fall into the temptation of condemning the sins of those who know nothing about Jesus and tolerating the sins of those who claim to love him. Paul encourages us not to do this, to resist this trap. At the resurrection of the dead, all sins that have ever been committed will be brought into light. God is the rightful judge, and we can trust that one day his verdict for all people will be the right one. His ways are greater than our ways, so we can leave the judging to those outside the church to God, the one who knows them, who loves them, and understands their circumstances far better than we ever could. As Christians, we're called to be light in this world now. That means cleaning up the darkness that dims that light in our own faith communities. We can't stand on the street corners with our megaphones in hand saying this world is burning without first making sure our own homes are safe.